The value underneath ethics is this value of respect. Love is great, but let's start with respect. Yeah? That to me is the fundamental value. That's what underwrites behaving ethically, is the willingness to respect people. Respect their boundaries, not overcross. Yeah? And the reverse, the what would you call it? The opposite of value, the vice, is contempt. There is such a deep contempt for people in most modern marketing. It's not a vicious thing, you understand. It's not it wouldn't sound like contempt on the surface, but it's the willingness to use people. It's the willingness to see people as tools. A friend of mine made a distinction. They said the difference between sleazy and creepy. Creepy is veiled intention. Somebody is trying to get something, but they're not telling you what it is. And they're not saying it, so it just feels off. Because you notice the maneuvering, but you can't put your finger on it. That's creepy. They're creeping, you know. Sleazy is objectification. And so much of the modern marketing is both. It is sleazy and it's creepy. The intention is veiled, I'm trying to get the sale, but also it's objectifying as you are just a number for me. And that is contempt. It's not seeing somebody as a real human being. For niching, any guesses, thoughts? What's the value underneath niche? Could be lots of things. Any ideas come to mind? This was the one that hit me first, and it sort of surprised me when it came. Humility. I can't help everybody. Oh no. Everything in my life tells me, there's a lot of spells we're under. I did a few reels recently around niching, these 4 spells. See if I can remember. The first one, the spell of potential. Because we're told this from a young age, you can be anything you want to be. You are mostly untapped potential. Did you know we don't use most of our brain? Wow, anything you set your mind to, you can do. So we live our lives as a potential everything instead of an actual something. And the reality is, you kind of are who you are, is how I see it. Parents always say this. They came in with a thing. They came in with a personality. And then the next kid had a different personality. Same parents. Even twins. Man, these are different people somehow. But we have this sense of well, I could just be anything. And that's a bit of a setup for number 2, the spell of salvation. Yeah, which says, you got to save everybody. You got to save the world. Well, shit, I got a lot of potential, so I guess I can do anything. And I should be able to help everyone, and I have to help people. I'm not allowed to say no to helping other people. Spell number 3, the spell of autonomy. That you should figure this all out on your own. That's also a very modern idea. In most traditional cultures, you would be overtly or covertly, implicitly or explicitly on the receiving end of the news about what your gifts are. Why? Everybody, you got a whole village paying attention to you. Hey, every time we tell stories about hunting, kids' eyes light up. This kid's always hanging around the beauty makers and the beaters and this kid's always into the hide tanning. See what I'm saying? They're noticing. And so without even probably a big fuss about it, it's organically happening. You're being guided towards your gifts. But here's what's happening now, is in schools, there are increasingly tablets kids can play on, driven by AI. Those table-sized tablets have fisheye cameras, which track the kids. Notice what their vocabulary is, how loud they speak, how often they're interrupted, all of these things. And then the AI puts them into one of 5 tracks for careers. Biotech, pharma, green energy, etc. This is the kind of darkness that is here and coming. So instead of elders guiding you towards your gifts, you have AI guiding you towards a profession that will serve the machine. But we're told you have to figure it out on your own. And I'm just saying that's madness. That is a modern affliction, that we have to figure out our niche on our own. So if that feels hard, yes, because it's not supposed to be you. And all that ties together into this spell of be everything to everybody. It's a kind of cumulative load of those three. It's like, well, the world's in trouble. Got to save everybody. You got a lot of potential, and you can figure this out. So just be adaptable, huh? Be everything to everybody. And so to me, the antidote to that is some humility. It's heartbreaking. It's a really grief-filled thing. To just look at the kind of, it's like, I want to help you, and I can't. I don't have the time. And I'm not saying no because I'm too busy. I just don't want to be that busy. I wish I could help, but I'm not that good at this. There's other people who can help you more, and I feel sad because you're right here, and I wish I could, but I'm going to have to send you on to somebody else. That takes a lot of humility, because the other side of that is a kind of pride or arrogance. Like, yeah, I can help everybody. And you see this with the gurus. You see this with, all of us when we're young. Oh yeah, no problem. I can help, There's just no discernment on it. And so we sit down with everybody to help them, and we start to realize, okay, I'm kind of built for certain things, and I'm built to help certain people. That's my sweet spot. And the further I go out of that, the less useful I become. And if I go far enough out, I'm dangerous to people. It can actually cause harm because I'm promising too much. The value around point of view to me in traditional cultures would be wisdom. This ability to connect the dots, the ability to see patterns is so deeply prized in traditional cultures. Yeah, wisdom is hard won. And the opposite of this to me would be trivia, which we're great at in modern culture. A bunch of useless knowledge that's not connected. Little bits of data. Yeah, we're drowning in information, but we're starving for wisdom, that thing. Oh, by the way, the other thing with the niche, it's arrogance, but also entitlement. Entitlement is heavy in modern times. I should be able to do whatever I want. If they weren't going to be a client, I should be able to take them as a client, whether or not I'm the best person to help them. With business model, this was the second one that came to me. I think the value is craft. Yeah. So all these clothes. This is a tweed. This one is from England. This one is from Ireland. This Irish tweed is from England. But this is, handmade. There's craft in it, which amazes me. There's some, people figure this stuff out. How do you? I don't. There's genuinely a mystery. I know there's a way to do it. I'd rather just be baffled that somebody knows how to sew and like what the stitching is and why can't I see the threads there. Or when you see something beautiful and handmade, of course, this room is full of them. But that kind of craft and care, when somebody makes you a spoon with their own hands, or they hand tan, some of those are probably hand tan, some not. Yeah, or that felt rug there. This is craft. And cultures are so proud of the craft that they make. So in modern culture, I think we get rebellious and we say, well, fuck it, no structure at all. I do what I want to do. And there's not a lot of appreciation for utility or beauty. Or at least not the marriage of the two. And in traditional cultures, things had to be functional, but also beautiful. I mean, you look at the regalia of traditional cultures, and we can't even touch that stuff. The embroidery, and there's so much to say about embroidery. Anyways, craft is a worthwhile thing in the world. And when we're building a business model, it takes that kind of care. It's the exact same sort of, I gotta bring an attention to the structure. Like, is this functional? Does it work? It's gotta work. If you make a spoon, great. Does it work? There's a hole in it and it kind of shaped funny. You can't, it's got to do the thing, but it also be beautiful at the same time. And of course, the opposite of this is mass produced. Everything's templated, everything's 7 steps. You fit into this system. Yeah. And then the last one is hubs. So the value for this to me is about goodwill. This is what we're working to engender here, is a spirit of goodwill in the community and between ourselves and other people. And the other side of this is selfishness, which ties to the story that we started with. Yeah.